So I want to just take you guys through some things, and this is especially good for those of you that have had some bees survive the winter. If you're part of the other 50% of people that your bees have lived, then you're going to be having to do some things to transition from winter to spring. And by the way, did you see that in my last video? I mentioned some of the reports are coming in. I can't remember the numbers now, but I think commercial beekeepers lost 63% of their bees. Don't hold me to that. I think that's what it was. But hobbyists, 50%. So, hobbyists did a little bit better on keeping bees alive than the commercial beekeepers, which to me doesn't make sense. Anyway, so congratulations for those of you that are still hanging on to some bees. I know a lot of you have. I've had some people tell me at the conference here, their bees all made it. Others said they all lost, they lost other hives. And we had a report today from I think the North Carolina inspectors, maybe South Carolina too, that kind of echoed the same thing. About half of the bees didn't make it, and for the same reason. So anyway, today, let's jump right into what I want to share with you today. Avoid March mistakes. So mistakes that you might make in late winter or early spring, because this is really critical. I mean, wow, you don't want to mess up now, because you're sitting there thinking, my bees made it through the worst winter. I mean, people that I talk to are saying it's never been colder, it's been so hard, all that. So you don't want to make a mistake now, because your great little bees pulled through the worst weather, but now it gets more critical, because whatever they suffered through in the wintertime probably didn't do them any favors now. In other words, if they lost some populations in the winter because of the cold, well, they're still low on population, right? If they ate more food in the wintertime because they were struggling to stay warm, well, then they're lower on resources. So we'll talk about all that. But first, let's talk about this. I want you to get ready for swarm alert, because the best thing that can happen to a beehive is that they can swarm. That's the worst thing that can happen for the beekeeper, because you don't want to lose half your bees. But let's face it, it's only the really strong, productive hives that swarm, because they're reproducing, making another colony. So when that happens, you can congratulate yourself. But a lot of you want to go ahead and make honey. You don't want to lose half your hive. What you're going to have to do is stay on top of it. First, you need to make sure you got enough equipment, if they do swarm, to put them in a new hive. So make sure right now, even before it's swarm season, maybe, let's go ahead and purchase bottom board, deep hive body, top cover, inner cover, whatever you need to do to put your bees into if they do swarm. And take the necessary precautions that, whether you buy a 5-frame nucleus to put them in or something, have that thing ready. And maybe you want to put up some swarm traps. Big thing about beekeeping now, people put up a lot of swarm traps, and this will help you maybe catch that swarm. So get some swarm traps ready, swarm commander, a little scent that you can put in there to help your bees fly into the box of your choice. And that'd be great. I usually buy those cheap, kind of made out of cardboard, little brown things. I know a lot of people like to put deeps or mediums, a little space under the bottom, hang some frames in there, whatever. But yeah, you got to put out some swarm traps. But don't let swarm season sneak up on you. By the way, those of you that are just now entering your second year of beekeeping, what you need to do is inspect weekly once the weather warms up. You're going to be looking for swarm cells on the bottom of your frames. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort if your colony is big, but that's the only way that you can preempt a swarm. Now, to avoid a swarm, if the weather warms up, you can make a split. Take 4 frames out of that big, nice overwintered colony. If the weather warms up, and you can make another hive out of that, and take the old queen into the split. That way they'll be forced to raise a new queen from her eggs. That will prevent a swarm for a month. So you can always do things like that. That's a big help. All right, let's go into the next tip. Well, a lot of people make the mistake of not realizing that even though your hive may have made it through the winter, and maybe they're a little smaller, because they suffered through winter population loss, don't forget that mites really need to be attacked right now. I mean, as soon as you can get into that hive on a warm day, 65 degrees Fahrenheit or warmer, please do a mite test, Please do a treatment. You got to get the mites under control coming out of winter. Some people wait too long. So please understand, mite control starts the minute you can get in there. Okay. You may not like it. I know we don't like always having to, use treatments and all, but we don't like seeing our bees dying either. So stay on top of those mites. Really important. Also, this is a critical time for bees to starve. Don't think that they're okay now. Even when you might start seeing some things being brought in the front door, you might see bees bringing in some pollen, from different flowers in the forest bed of leaves or something, or if where you live, it may start being, I saw some trees blooming around here, but don't forget, it may not be what they need. It may not be enough. And so it helps if you can supplement some feed. So get one of our top feeder boards, a Burns feeding system. I had a lady today tell me that she bought our feeder boards and she loves them and it helps her so much. So get those on top of your hive so you can start feeding them. And, my approach is to feed them 42 days before your first dandelions start blooming pretty good. That way you can get your foraging team built up pretty good. Thanks, Jimmy, for your donation. Appreciate that. All you guys are so good to donate to the live stream. Your donations help us to have giveaways, to bring people in like Dr. Peck last week. We pay him. So all your donations are really useful to help our live stream. Let's see. So I did starvation. Don't let your bees starve. And then the next thing, mentioned that briefly under swarm, but you really need to think through your equipment. Whether you are expecting your bees to swarm or intend to make a split, you're going to need extra equipment, and that's a good thing. So I know it's pricey, and gosh, the price of everything just seems to keep going up. But anyway, you need to get some equipment on hand. It takes a little while to get your equipment sometimes. So get ahead of that game. Get some equipment so you can put bees in it. Even if your bees don't swarm, even if you don't make a split, guess what? You're going to have a neighbor call you up and say, hey, I heard you're a beekeeper. There's some bees hanging off my tree out front. So you need to catch that swarm, put them in something. So really think about getting that equipment that you need. Another thing is, I had a picture I was going to put in here, but I ran out of time. But it's a picture of one of my hives that fell over in the wintertime. Yeah, that's sad, isn't it? Not this year, but several years ago. Because in Illinois, our ground kind of thaws and freezes, and it just gets unlevel. It's real spongy like when it starts to thaw out. And these hives look pretty straight here. But go out there and make sure that your hives aren't crooked, and because sometimes they're top heavy. And if they get a little bit off and, they're off down low, then they're off really a lot at the top. So try to go out there, shore up your hives, make sure that little holes are repaired. If there's a winter damage, that mice knocked a hole in it or something, try to get all that fixed up good so your bees can grow without having those kind of issues. And remove insulation. This is a kind of a scene of some black insulation covering a hive. So it may be time for you to remove that insulation. If you're out of the woods and it's not cold and not going to be really cold anymore, you're going to really want to capitalize on the warmer weather, let your bees enjoy that sunshine. So think that through. Don't take it off too early, but go ahead and take that wrap off if you think you're done with that. One time I remember it snowing in the month of May. Yes, May here in Illinois. That is the most depressing thing ever to see, snow in the month of May. And finally, this is going to help your bees a lot. Now, your bees will remove dead bees that have accumulated on the bottom board. It's gross. It's smelly. Dead bees smell. And it is better especially if you've lost a lot of them, to clear those out of there. And the best thing you can do, get a coat hanger. We have sold, I don't know if we have any in stock, but we have those little blue things, plastic things. They kind of look like a back scratcher, and you can reach in there and drag out dead bees with those. Anything you can do. Sometimes I've taken a small diameter of rebarb and put a little hook on it, and you can go in there and hook and just pull out those dead bees. But that's what it's going to look like when you start pulling out dead bees. That will save your bees a lot of effort. They don't have to sit there and try to, constantly carry all those dead bees out. Just go ahead and do it. That's kind of a natural occurrence. So those are some tips for this time of the year. Also, when your bees start flying in really colder climates, they may really defecate on the front of your hive. They may really poop, leave some stains on the top, on the front. Don't panic. I know a lot of you might think you have something like dysentery, or that's a symptom sometimes of nosema. You may think you have nosema. That's just the bees. They're tired of holding it in and they're going to let it rip. So don't panic if you do see some bee poop, see them defecating on top covers and on the front of your hive and everything. That's normal. All right. So good tips for the month of March, or the first latter part of winter and the first part of spring. So yeah, keep those tips in mind. It's good to see so many of you here. We're going to have a giveaway in just a little bit. I'm excited about our giveaway tonight because I met somebody here today, Anthony. And I met Anthony today, and I got a picture of Anthony here. I took a picture of Anthony. There he is. Hey, Anthony. I think Anthony's with us tonight. Yeah, Anthony, thanks for being with us. Look what Anthony's wearing. He's got a Beak Squad shirt on, and I didn't know we sold white Beak Squad. I like the white one. Looks really good on Anthony. And yeah, so I've met several of you on the live stream that were here that are here at the conference. So we're going to be giving away in a little bit that shirt that Anthony was wearing. No, it's not his shirt, but it looks like his shirt. We're going to give away a white Beak Squad shirt here in a little bit after some questions. So stick around. That's a nice looking shirt. And thanks, Anthony, for being a great model. You're the Vanessa White of the Beak Squad of the Beak Squad shirt. So that's great. Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into some question times tonight. It's later here. I'm not used to Eastern time. I'm 8:16 over here. Wow. Oh yeah, I gotta announce this. Our classes are 50% off all of our online courses until March the 20th. So that's still, a lot of you have taken advantage of this. I've got classes on every subject in beekeeping, or you can buy the bundle. They're all together. Queen rearing, mite control, spring management, winter management. I mean, it's all there. So half price. It's our way of helping beekeepers that are starting off in the spring. And hey, I mean, things are expensive. We know that. So we're trying to help all the beekeepers out. Got a little bit longer run of that half price off. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Yep. That'd be it. If you didn't catch that, it's honeybeesonline.com. That's our website. By the way, this is a live stream. If you're joining us live, this is live. You can always watch the replay, and it's not live if you're watching the replay. Everybody quite doesn't get that, because I see a lot of people trying for the giveaways 3 or 4 days later, but the giveaways are only good if you're live. All right, let's take some questions. Julia. Found evidence of a mouse in my hive when scraping out dead bees. Eek. What should I expect when opening the hive? Well, I'll tell you, I've seen that too. And I usually find that the mouse or the mice are usually pretty low. They sometimes build a little grassy mouse nest on the bottom board in the corner. And sometimes they can get up into the frames a little bit and start eating things, but they're going to be down low. It should be, if it warms up enough, your bees break cluster, they should start attacking and stinging the mice. But if not, it would be good for you to kind of get in there and take that mouse nest out of there. It's stinky. Bees don't like it. No. Yeah. She may have raised some pinkies in there. Well, hello, Gary. How do I know which swarm trap to use? Gary, somebody asked me that here at the conference, and to be honest with you, I don't think it matters. Everybody has this idea that if I get the perfect one, if I set it up perfectly, I'll have a greater chance of getting the swarm. But, I've set up a lot of different swarm traps before, and it doesn't seem to matter to me, because bees are going to go and make a decision, right? And so hopefully what you're doing is trying to lure them into a space that is that perfect space. What is it? I forget the exact, about the size of a 5-gallon bucket or something like that, a little bit bigger, but an opening, a cavity. So you're trying to, that's what they're looking for, according to Tom Seeley's book on the work that he did. But yeah, they'll fly into a deep box, a medium box. These other swarm, they have some that are made out of cloth, I'll tell you what, though, to be honest with you, here's my opinion. I think it's a lot like fishing. People say, well, where's the best place to fish? What's the best bait to use on my fishing line? Yeah, who knows, right? But yeah, just do your best. Hi, Pamela. Take 2. I need to check candy boards they have been working on. If they need change, should I slap on another one for these next couple of weeks of transition to syrup? They've been eating pollen subs. Pamela, that's right. Yeah, if it's still pretty cool at night, if it's still dropping below 50 degrees, they don't really eat sugar water unless the heat of the hive is warming up the sugar water, which usually it does. If you're using our boards, that cluster heat will keep that sugar water warm. But if it's still dipping down cold, yeah, you might have to go back and forth. It's a yo-yo weather pattern for most people, especially us in the north. It'll warm up, be nice, fool us, and then drop back to winter. Now we're back to winter mode again. You got to use your best judgment on that one. Yep. All right, there's Jimmy. We'll use insulation on top of hive through winter. Would it help summer when at 90 to 100 degrees? We have a gentleman speaking. I think his name is Derek Metz. He's speaking at the conference, and his specialty is in, I guess, thermodynamics or something, and I like his thoughts. He's saying that, bees in trees, somebody asked this question at the conference, and his response was, well, in the summertime, bees in their natural habitat live an entirely different thing than a hive because they're in a tree. You know how the tree, the waterways in the tree, the water goes up and down in the trees like that to pull heat away. And the trees are thicker. And now we're taking bees out of the tree and putting them into a 3/4 inch pine box. So yeah, it does change it. And so I think it seemed like to me, I got the idea that he was saying you might want to insulate your hive even in the summertime. I'll have to revisit that. Don't hold me to that. But I think that was kind of what he was saying too. Keep the heat out. Mm-hmm. Hey, Little Rock, Massachusetts. How small can a colony get and still come back from winter? If the colony looks small, should I start feeding with pollen? If you have a small colony, I would suggest keeping them wrapped up to hold heat because that's, they need heat. Here in Massachusetts, you're going to have some colder weather. Wrap them up. And I would feed the daylights out of them. I would feed them pollen. I'd feed them everything I could. Absolutely. I would not be afraid to feed those bees. They're small and they need that food. How small can they get and still survive? It just depends. I've seen some very small colonies late winter. It takes them a while to kind of get some momentum going, but they'll come back. Yeah. I have a colony that had comb that is connected. Oh, yeah. How should I break it apart and not hurt the colony or queen? That can really be a frustrating thing. I call that wacky comb, wonky comb. I don't know if I started that term or if I heard somebody say it, but it fits the bill, doesn't it? It's just wonky comb. I made a video on how to fix wonky comb. You go to YouTube and type in David Burns, fixing bad comb, and it'll come up. But you just have to go in there surgically and try to cut it back and remove as much as you can. And what I try not to do is destroy brood. I don't mind destroying a little bit of honey or nectar, pollen, because they can rebuild that. But I hate to destroy brood. But yeah, just do the best you can to cut it back and start leveling it off. Thank you so much for your donation for a super sticker tonight. Appreciate it. Hey, Jonathan, thanks for your donation. Can you tell us your thoughts on this year's colony collapse? A commercial beak friend lost over 50% and I lost everything. Jonathan, yes, I can speak to that. Nobody knows what caused it. Anybody can speculate. Believe me, data is being collected, and it would be quick to judgment if I made any comment about what I think it is. It's hard to tell. I think they're looking at any new viruses, any new pathogens. Is it the same old thing with a little, bigger bite? We just don't know. Yeah, we just don't know. Hey, Rich, I didn't see Rich's comment. I missed it. Oh, appreciate David, Sherry, Jessica, and Robbie's knowledge and work. Also, the entire Beak Squad with all their tips and tricks. First year Beak this month is anniversary. So far, all 3 hives strong and kicking. Well, that's good to hear, Rich. I've been talking with Rich. He's a part of our B Team 6 mentorship program. I've been helping him get wrap his head around raising queens this year, Rich. So good luck to you, buddy. Hey, Danny, if I pick up new nukes in late April in Nashville, Indiana, when should I start testing for mites? Danny, it's not going to hurt a thing to test immediately. Why not? I know a lot of people don't like to kill that many bees for a mite test when they're small like that, but your bees are going to be dying from mites. So it's not a bad thing to sacrifice those bees to get an idea of where you're at. Hey, Sally, thanks for your donation, Sally. Oh, thank you, David and Sherry, for always being there. Sally and Rob. Sherry said, David, are you going to do the live stream when you're over there speaking at a conference? Sherry said, you don't have to. You could take a break. People understand. I know, but I love you guys, and I love being here. It is hard work, and I'm tired, but I'm here. I work hard for you guys. Yeah. So thank you. Henry, hello, David and team. I have those little black sugar ants all over the top feeder board. Suggestions on how to get rid of them. That's interesting. Yeah, Henry, ants love sweet things, right? Are they the bigger ones? Are they the big carpenter ants or the smaller? I always thought they were red. Sugar ants were maybe they're black too. But a lot of us will try to elevate the legs of the hive, like on little smaller little legs that you can put down into some cans, like coffee cans, and fill those up with water or vegetable oil and make a moat so the ants can't gain access without crossing that oil. They won't get to your bees. You can also put double-sided sticky tape around like the upper deep or something if they're going up trying to get to the top, and sprinkle some cinnamon on that sticky tape. That messes up their pheromone trail and they just can't make it up there. There's a lot of ways to deal with ants. I know it can be tricky, but most ants, unless you live in a place where you got a lot of fire ants, most ants don't really get into the hive that deeply and bother them. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I had one colony. It died, so I need to put the 2 deeps in freezer or tape close entrance and leave outside till I get new bees. Yeah, that's right. That's a good approach. If you can freeze it, that's good. If you live in a cold climate that's been brutally cold after they died, it probably killed anything in there like, eggs of wax moth, larvae, small hive beetle that can overwinter, it probably killed all that. Probably cleaned it up pretty good. But if not, you don't want it to be reinfested. So small hive beetle will try to find that as soon as they can and get in there and capitalize on that pollen and stuff in there. So freeze it. Yeah, you can tape it off. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Hello, Mike. When you catch a swarm, do you have to move it 3 miles? Oh, I know it. Why can't we teach our bees to find their new home when it's on the same property? It's so frustrating that we can't erase their memory. So when you catch a swarm, maybe you got a swarm trap and you caught it and you didn't know it. So they were in that trap for a week. Well, they took orientating flights and they know where their new hive is, their new home is, but you don't want it hanging on that fence post anymore. You want to put it in the bee yard. Well, now when you move it 100 yards, they go back to the fence post. What you can do, Mike, is that you can move it like at night into a hive and then cover that hive. Well, put something really big in front of it, right in front of it. I mean, inches in front of it. So they have to take a new orientation flight. And sometimes that works to do it that way. Yeah. Sometimes I've actually put another hive, an empty hive, where the other one was, and I keep catching foragers and shaking them back to their new location. Hey, Ryan, good to see you. Thanks for your donation, Ryan. Appreciate it. Such great people. Appreciate them. Their online courses are priceless. Well, they're half price. But yeah, thanks, Ryan. You're a big supporter. Wow. Ryan is a big lavender farmer. I did a video with Ryan. Check that out on my YouTube channel. Ryan is he's a Marine. He's served our country. I appreciate him and his wife so much. They do so great, such good stuff for me and Sherry too. Hey, Deborah. David, when do you remove mouse guards? I have found that mice kind of cycle, that they'll start trying to find things even when it starts, breaking away from winter a little bit. So once the bees start flying, then you're pretty much safe to get rid of it because they'll run the mice out. When they're clustered in the wintertime, mice can jump in there and the bees are clustered. They don't defend against the mouse. So when they're flying and they're active, you can take them off. They'll run the mice out. Yeah. All right. Hey, Robert, if you have several hives in one area, do you need to mite check each hive? Yeah, Mike, you do. Or Robert, I've heard some people say you don't have to, but you do. Because I can have my numbers all across the board. I can have a high mite count right next to it, that hive with bigger population doesn't have hardly any mites. So you can't really get a good reading. I would treat each hive individually. I really would. And take a mite test on each one. Hey, save a little money too if they're low on mites. That's a good question though. We all face stuff like that. Hey, Jamie. Is there a specific type of beeswax to paint on foundation? Can I just order natural beeswax off Amazon? Ideally, I want to say that your best beeswax is going to be your beeswax. You saw your bees make it. You know what treatments you did or didn't use. You know how you cleaned it up. You melted it. That's the best thing. However, not everybody does that. Not everybody has that option. I have ordered plenty of natural beeswax, 100% pure beeswax off Amazon, and I've used it, and I have never had an issue doing that. Study it, make sure that it doesn't have anything added. But yeah, or you can buy from beekeepers. At the conference, there's people selling big, huge blocks of beeswax. Again, you don't know their source. You don't know if that's got any kind of chemical in or anything, if that's important. But anyway, your wax is the best. But any pure beeswax is going to help them out. Anyone use GrubX for hive beetle control? Beekeepers are using GrubX for small hive beetle control, and small hive beetle is not on the label. It's something that it's designed to kill. However, it does kill small hive beetle larvae in the ground. It does. So beekeepers are using it. Absolutely. Yep. There's a lot of ways to kill small hive beetle grubs. All right. Thanks for your videos. Well, you're welcome. I was wondering why some bees in the colony are different colors. Some were yellow, orange, some were black. Yeah, that's funny. People don't often take a long look at that, but the variety can be quite startling. And it often has to do, you got to remember that though the bees have one mother, they have many fathers, right? 20 to 40 upwards of dads. And so the workers are from different lines of drones. And that could be the color allele showing up differently. Is it fair to say that, I know it's not, we're talking about haploid, diploidy genetics with bees. It's different than human chromosomes. But, I have children. Sherry and I have 6 children. We have 2 redheads. We have 2 that are darker hair. I mean, so the color is just because of the genetic diversity, I think. Yeah. Which is good. You want genetic diversity. By the way, those of you that are brand new to beekeeping and you've not thought a lot about genetics, but just so you know, a drone honeybee, the male honeybee, does not have a father, but he has a grandfather. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's true. That's biology for you. That's haploid diploidy. All righty. Brian, can putting thymol in sugar water assist with nosema and other internal sicknesses? Ooh, can't speak to that. I just not gonna I not gonna really answer that because I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah. Hey, David. Tips attracting a swarm. Being at the right place at the right time. A swarm commander. I saw a lot of it being sold here. I think I've seen that work really well. It really has. Swarm commander. Kind of got those pheromones that attract bees there. Yeah, but you just got to hopefully you're in the right place at the right time. One year it might work great. Other years it may not. Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it? It's kind of like going fishing. What temperatures do you recommend removing installation rats from beehives and removing the insert from the screen bottom boards? Still quite cold here in Western New York. Yeah. If your bees are living, I would be hard pressed to change much just yet. You know what I mean? You've made it this far. You've beat a lot of odds. And so I would hold course, keep it steady. You're in New York, you got to be like me, man. It doesn't get warm until Mother's Day. So, yeah, I would want to make sure I'm out of the cold weather. Yeah. Don't change now. Something's working. Definitely. Vlad. Hi, David. I have 2 hives that produce more honey than I can use or give away. Wow. Wow. We want to graft off of your queen. How can decrease their honey production? What kind of question is that? Everybody's like, I want more honey. Here's a guy that wants less honey. It's coming out of his ears. Well, you need to get into the chat and you shouldn't do this, but you almost need to give your address and start selling this stuff, sell your honey. Oh, I hear what you're saying. I will say that I'm kind of in the same boat that you are. I don't sell honey anymore either. And my bees make a lot of honey. I eat a lot of honey, so I harvest some for myself. I leave it on the hives. Or I store it and use it in the spring to help build up splits and things. So that's about all you can do. But congratulations. You must live in a good area where there's a lot of resources. It's amazing. I got to check my clock. Oh, we're doing good. Where should I locate a swarm trap? A lot of swarm trap questions. Everybody's going to tell you. I mean, when it comes to swarm traps, everybody's an expert. They really are. You'll find everybody 25 feet, 10 feet, 5 feet, face north, on a fence post, at the edge of the woods, not at the edge of the wood. Boy, I'm telling you, you're going to hear it all. And, hey, if you've been beekeeping a long time, like I know when my hives swarm, they rarely go to the same place. Sometimes, here we go. When they swarm, they form a bivouac. Bivouac is a military term where you set up a temporary tent. And so bees set up this bivouac before they make it to their final big home somewhere in a tree, So they're only hanging out in that swarm area just for a minute or a day. And so I've seen them in that bivouac state, 60 feet up in the air, on the ground, on a fence post, on a car bumper. Yeah, you're just going to have to use your best judgment. Keep your fingers crossed. Yeah. But you could get Tom Seeley's book, Democracy of Honeybee. He does a lot of research on that. Hey, Jim, in a previous video, you banked a queen over winter. Have you had a chance to check her? No, I have not. I am really running behind on a lot of things, and that's one of them. I've been rewiring so many things in our house. We've had so many things that we've had to repair in our home this year, problems like a water heater went out, soaked, leaked. And I had to go from a gas water heater that was upstairs to put a electric water heater in my basement while I had the flu, which made my flu last longer, I think. So I've just been inundated with And I don't want to go any further, but it's just been so busy, it really has. But I have not had a chance to do that. Yeah. Okay, what's the best way to switch colony from one hive to another? Oh, my original hive needs repaired. Thank you. And I've learned a lot from you. You know what? I've made a video about that. The best way to do it, go out there and just take the same equipment that's, in better shape and start transferring the frames over. Bingo. That works so good. It really does. Yep. Easiest way to do it all day long. You can do it one box at a time and the next box next week if you want to. You don't want to do all at one time. Can I use fine ashes from a cold fire to trap small hive beetle in my tray under my bottom board? Maybe. I don't know. I think of the West trap that's sold. It's a big oil trap that goes underneath the screen bottom board, and the beetles go through there and kind of die. Not sure about the use of fine ash like that. Yeah. All right, we're just going through a lot of questions here. I ordered foundation, should already be waxed. Do I need to wax them again? It depends on where you ordered them from. Some places actually will sell foundation that's single coated, double coated, and triple coated, and it's amazing. So sometimes if you can find a company that will triple coat wax, if you're wanting to pay the money, not do it yourself. I did that last year. I got some frames from them. Wow. I made a video about it, and their frames, I will only buy frames from them. This is not a paid promotion. What was the name of that company? Anybody remember? Help me out here. I can't remember the name of the company right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm tired, so I can't, my mind isn't firing on all cylinders. But it was a company that sells single, double, triple coated. I reached out to them too, and they never responded to me because I said, hey, I made a video about your frames. I love it, but they never answered me. So I was hoping to really talk to more about them. Yeah, it's Acorn. You're right. Acorn Bee Supply. Thank you. Yeah, they make some crazy frames. My bees loved that frame, and it pulled it out so fast. Is there any reason not to leave entrance reducers at smallest or next larger all year? It does seem like it helps bees go in and out a little faster during a nectar flow if it's opened up more. However, I've taken bees out of houses where they just had a little break in the mortar between the bricks. And when I got into the beehive, it was full of honey. It didn't slow them down a bit. So, I think we do have excessively large entrances that are a little bit unnecessary. I think if you left it half open, which would be about 7 inches, that would be plenty. It would be more than enough. And it would cut down on how many beetles and all that can fly in the front too. Yeah, I think you could get by with a lot smaller entrances. Bees do in nature. Yeah. Absolutely. Glad I have high-speed internet here at the hotel tonight. Yeah. Yeah, I meant to ask Sherry about this. Let me see. Sherry, can I give the details of this special announcement? Including why it's being given away. Can I tell that? Why this is being given away? Okay. So anyway, somebody has donated. They have purchased and now they've donated a package of bees to be given away. And one stipulation, they want it to be given away to a youth. Is that 18 or younger, Sherry? Okay, 18 or younger. So we have a young person in the audience, or maybe your child or something. We want to help support young people getting into beekeeping. Very gracious of our live stream donor that has donated this package of bees. So that'll be next week. So please respect our wishes, and the person making this donation, make sure that the person is getting the bees are going to be a child under the age of 18, getting into beekeeping to help them out. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Don't forget our giveaway coming up in just a few minutes here. Very good. Oh, you're 21. Well, you almost made it. Back up a few years, right? Thank you, Justin, for your super sticker tonight. Yeah. All right, let's have our giveaway. Can we show Anthony's shirt again, what we're giving away? Vanna White / Anthony. Yeah, there's Anthony. Anthony. So that shirt, I didn't know we had it in white. I thought it looked good. So there you go. Beak Squad shirt. We're going to give that shirt away today. So here's the deal. What do we got? Hashtag shirt. Is that what we're going to use? There you go. And so just put in the comments, hashtag shirt, all lowercase. And you'll, if you win, you're going to have to email us and let us know your shirt size so we can get you the proper size of that shirt. All right. So we'll be collecting some comments on hashtag shirt. So that's all you got to do. So there you go. Let's go ahead and keep working some questions while we let everybody try to get their names in the hat to win that shirt. What kind of other questions do you have on your mind today, Beak Squad family? What metrics would you grade a couple of hives by determining if you should combine them? Weakness. I'm going to look at the population. I'm going to look at resources. I'm going to look at how much brood is in there. So it depends on what season you're in. So most of the times we're worried about bees late in the year because we don't think they're going to build up because this build-up season is over. Now we're kind of coming into spring. So it's rare to see people combine so much in the spring as much as they do in the fall. But you might have to in the spring. You're going to look in there. If you see that they're just like, oh, they're going to die. They're gone, well, then you might as well combine them. But if they have 2 or 3 frames of bees, a frame or 2 of brood, a frame or 2 of honey, they're not, and it's spring, then let them have a go at it. See how they do. Yeah. Depends on the time of the year. Hey, Dottie, I melt my beeswax and I still have some honey in it. Oh, yeah. Is this okay? Brush onto frames. Yeah, it's not a bad thing, really. It's hard sometimes to do a thorough washing. I have to wash my wax 3 or 4 times, in water to kind of get that honey out of there. I know what you mean. But I don't think it's going to be a big deal. It's going to dissipate pretty easily. Yep. Oh, we got a large attendance tonight. See that we've topped 800 tonight. So thank you guys for all being here. When are bees able to start making propolis in the spring? Well, I know I know what you meant. I'm just going to clarify it. Bees don't make propolis. I'm not saying that you said that, but they bring propolis in from plants and trees, sticky substances that they combine from gathering off of plants, and they bring it back into the hive. It's part of the bee's immune system. It has a lot of good antimicrobial things to it, so it kind of keeps things from growing so much, cuts down on pathogens. They'll start anytime the plants start producing that kind of substance. So probably by spring you'll start seeing them bring it in. All right, let's go ahead and have our giveaway. All right, hashtag shirt if you'd like to win a Beak Squad shirt. Yeah. All right, Robbie's going to set us up here, and we'll see who our winner of our Beak Squad shirt's going to be tonight. Live from North Carolina, live from the North Carolina, South Carolina Bee Conference over here. Great. All right, Robbie, let's see. There goes Tom and Mike, and I can't say them fast enough. Dwayne and Sandy. Eric Shipley. There you go. Eric, be sure and email us with the address you see scrolling across the screen there within 24 hours, beaksquadwinner@gmail.com. And Eric, don't forget to tell us your size so we can get the right size Beak Squad shirt sent out to you. For those of you that were dying to get that shirt and now you're dying because you didn't get it, you can still buy those. If you look at the screen there, there's our link, and you can go to that website for Beak Squad merch. And there's more than just shirts. There's, I think, hoodies and tumblers and hats and all that good stuff. So that'd be good. Yep. check that out. Also, I want to thank you guys for donating tonight. If you don't want to donate here on live stream on YouTube, you can always go to our website, honeybeesonline.com. There's a link there to donate to the live stream. Again, the donations, we use them to feed back into the community, to have speakers like Dr. Peck last week. And we use our donations also to help pay the live stream bills, but also to have giveaways too. So that's great. So appreciate it. All right, let's hit some more questions. Yeah. Hey, Michael. Best direction to face a swarm trap, or does it matter? Oh, it probably does matter, but I'm not sure if it does a whole lot. It seems like I've had pretty good luck with them facing the south before, but I think they're going to be inspecting all kind of cavities because, you know, when I've taken bees out of houses and buildings and everything, they're always facing different directions. And the bees thought that was a pretty good cavity, and it faced any direction, you know, it's all over the board. Yeah, there's no guarantee about those swarm traps. So some people have really good luck. It's more about bees in that location too. Mr. Joe Ellis, how high does a beehive need to be? We try to get the beehive out of the moisture kind of zone of the ground. So we always like to get it about at least 6 inches out above the ground, because at that point there's enough wind, you know, that helps disperse the moisture. Otherwise, if you just, you know, get it too close to the ground, it's so moist, it's going to tear up your bottom boards, to erode your bottom board. Also, don't get it too high, because then when you add 7 supers, you're going to have a ladder to go up there and look at that top super. So plan ahead and think, okay, I don't want it too high, but I need it high enough. Get it above that moisture zone. Mad honey. There is a such thing as mad honey. Are there ways to rear queens with only a strong single box colony? Sure there is. The bees will do it naturally too if they swarm. But yeah, you can always just do a few grafts off of a frame out of that box. And if you wanted to shake some nurse bees into a little starter hive, put a few frames in there. It's just, you do everything that I tell you in my class, my online course, queen rearing course, or the book that John Zavishlak and I wrote. Do everything that way, but a smaller scale. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is kind of like you can cut the recipe in half and make half as many queens. So yeah, you can get by with that. Doesn't take a lot to raise 1 queen. Some good questions tonight. Hey, Carrie. Have you drilled holes in the center of your plastic foundations or break the corners off? Yeah, I have done that. Most plastic foundation, I made a video of that one time. They call those communication holes, and they're designed to be on the bottom of the plastic foundation. You can see a perforation on some plastic foundation. You can snap those off. And the idea is that your bees can more easily walk to the other side. Yes, I have also experimented by drilling holes in the middle many years ago. Remember, I've been doing this for almost 30 years now, but many years ago, I got the bright idea. Maybe it was Reverend Langstroth that tried it too, but I drilled like a 3-inch hole in my foundation going into winter. You do it too early, they'll just put a comb in there. But I thought it would help the cluster move without having to go down around frames. But I just didn't see any difference with that. Didn't make any difference. Yeah. Have you dealt with nosema, and how? Have I dealt with nosema? I have done nosema spore counts. Years ago, I bought a very expensive, you had to buy a pretty high-powered microscope to actually see the spores. And I can't distinguish between Nosema cerana and Nosema apis, so I can't really tell the difference. But I did do spore counts, and I did not have high level of counts. So I never had to deal with it before. No. All right. A lot of times nosema clears up, by the way, when spring hits and bees start defecating and clearing the gut out. Nosema, by the way, let's see, nosema. Yeah, nosema is a microsporidian. and its filament attaches to the cells of the like second stomach area and takes over that way. It's just allows it to be starved. They just can't eat, you know. Solitude Acres. I met you guys here today or here at the conference. Wow. Do you use the amount of drones in your hive to measure if it's a good time to split hives or raising queens to make sure queens can be mated? Yeah, you know, that's a neat thing about honeybees. They raise the honeybee race. They raise their drones before they raise their queens. And so, yeah, we all look at our drones to make sure, and then you can extrapolate that out. What, day 23, when they're 24 days old, they're mature, sexually mature to go mating. So, you know, you think about all that. Okay, do I have drones? Now I can start raising my queens. I don't use drones to determine if I should make splits or not. No. I just use good weather. Yeah, when bees start swarming, that's a good time to make splits, about a week before. It's simple. Split your hives a week before they swarm and all your problems go away. Yeah, right. It's like tune a piano. I heard somebody say, how do you know how to get a piano? What do they call them? Strings? Doesn't sound wire. How do you get that wire just tight enough? And a guy said, tighten it until it breaks and then back off a little bit. That's what you do with swarms. You know, you wait till they swarm and you get ahead of it and go back 2 weeks and split them. Now I'm getting goofy because I'm tired. What time is it? I got to watch my clock. Got a few minutes, a couple more questions. When performing a split, what's the minimum distance I can put it from the old hive? Distance doesn't matter. You're still going to face the situation where the foragers will want to go back to the original colony unless you go 2 to 3 miles away for 2 weeks, then come back and put it somewhere else. Otherwise, you got to use our little tricks of putting something in front of the hive to make the foragers realize they need to remember where their new home is. It's tricky. It's tricky. No easy way around it. That is not a quick fix. All right, this will be our last question tonight. If you catch a swarm or colony, do you mark the queen the year you catch it or the year before? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. If you caught a swarm, yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I usually mark it that year. I know that it's not maybe accurate, but at least it identifies to me, okay, that was a swarm from this year. That queen was this year. But it's really hard to know because that swarm is the old queen. She could be 3 years old, right? If you catch a swarm. If you catch somebody's swarm, that queen has been in there a long time, 2 to 3 years. Yeah. All right. That's all the questions for tonight. I want to thank all of you for being on the live stream tonight. I am just thrilled that we had such a big crowd and all of you had such great questions. I'm really pumped and excited that you are finding this channel to be helpful. You know, I'm humbled that you respect me and you have confidence and you value the channel. I really do respect that. I don't like wasting your time. Our time's valuable. 59 minutes of your time I know is costly. So I appreciate you being here. I just want to say, guys, I think you're the best. I really do. I love you guys. I see you at the conferences. I've seen dozens and dozens of you here at this conference that are coming up. Get your picture taken with me, getting some autographs. Let me know you like watching the channel. And you're swell. You guys are great. So keep watching my videos. Keep being a part of Bee Team 6. We're all learning about bees together. Oh, before I go, remember this. I don't claim to know everything about beekeeping. I don't claim to know it all. And I don't claim that my way is the only way. I think that we need to respect everybody's different positions on beekeeping. We're all here trying to do the same thing. We need to get along, respect other people's way of doing it, because there's more than one way to do it the right way. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Good night.